Hello, this is James Himm Mitchell, your intuitive guidance counselor, and I'm here doing a different type of weekly reading. Normally, if you've been following my videos on my channel, you know that I usually use tarot, but you also know that I've been studying the Lenormand since the end of last year. So I thought I would try a different type of video for the week, just to give it a whirl and see how it goes using the Lenormand. So in this video, we're going to be doing what's called a line of 5 or an answer spread. It's going to consist of 5 cards. And some of the techniques that I'll be demonstrating as I move through the reading comes from a wonderful resource that has been very helpful to me in my studies of Lenormand. And it is called the Complete Lenormand Oracle. So you can see it. It's by Katz, who is a wonderful expert in divination, and so I enjoy this book very much. So if you are new to Lenormand, or if you're looking for a new resource, I highly recommend this, so this might be one you want to check out. Okay, having said that, this deck that I'm using is a reproduction of the 1887 Dondorf Lenormand, so it's considered one of the more historical or traditional type of Lenormand decks out on the market. So what I do when I read Lenormand is I take the deck and I shuffle it, similar to how I shuffle tarot cards when I'm doing the weekly readings for those. But what I also do after I kind of shuffle it is I like to cut the deck. So what I do is I cut it into 3. And then I put the deck back together, and then I kind of fan it out. And then I draw 5 cards that way. So, drawing the 5 cards. Okay, you want to come out. Okay. So I'm going to put the remainder of the deck aside. I want to make sure I have all these in the shot. So many people who work with Lenormand probably have different techniques or different ways of reading the cards. So this video is just basically sharing how I read the cards on a regular basis. So when I do a line of 5, I look to the middle card as the hinge card or the focus card. So the focus here is the stars. The stars is all about, for me, it represents inspiration and guidance and things becoming clear. So this could be saying that, you know, we need to focus on inspiration, however we receive guidance, whether it's external guidance. This is, as a coach, this card can represent life coaching for me, so that's one form of guidance, is working with a coach. But also too is about the guidance within. So again, everybody knows who regularly listens to my videos here on my channel that I'm a dream decoder. So dreams, I always say, is one form of guidance, and it comes from within. And so this card is asking us about paying attention to the guidance that we receive, whether it's external or internal this week. So then what we do is we look at all the other cards around this card. Okay, so I will say this. You know, the cross being at the end, the cross can sometimes represent something that is a burden or something that is difficulty. So this card could suggest that towards the end of the week we might be faced with some sort of burden, some sort of ordeal, some sort of difficulty. This card here says we need to have faith. So this card is about, you can see it through, but it's a matter of having faith. Okay, so and it also says too, if you're of the mindset that challenges show up for us to help us grow spiritually, then this card would suggest that if you look at it that way, then it's necessary for your spirituality. Okay, so the cards going from left to right are the Tower, the Heart, the Key, and I already talked about the Cross. So these are the cards. What I do next is I allow the 2 cards that are flanking the center card, so we have the Heart and we have the Key, that help us look at the topic, which is the guidance or the inspiration, more in depth. So whenever the Key comes up, the Key is a card that represents something being certain. it's like a yes with an exclamation mark. This card can represent the answer, the solution, something being unlocked, something being revealed or discovered, or some kind of breakthrough. And then the heart is a card that represents passion, affection, feelings, emotions, romance even. So it could be, like the key or a breakthrough or something important to what you're passionate about. So that would be what the inspiration is. Inspiration is going to help us discover something that we're passionate about, or it's going to be the key to what what it is that we're passionate about, enthusiastic about, things of that nature. So that's about the guidance. Then the cards on the opposite ends can represent something having to do with a possible summation with that. So we have the Tower, and then the Cross. The Cross, I already said, talks about burdens, difficulties, spirituality, something that's fated if you believe in fate, because this card can be about karma and fate. But it's something that's necessary, something that's critical for us to go through, but it just requires us to have faith. Now, the Tower can represent a period of isolation. It can also be something that we need to keep an eye out for or keep a watch on. It can also represent institutions, because it's Lenormand can be very literal. So since the Tower is an actual physical building type structure, it can represent some sort of institution, something of a tradition, something official, things of that nature. So reading the two pairs, the pair of the Cross and the Tower, or it should be actually the Tower and the Cross, could be something of a religious institution. So that could be church. So again, pointing to the whole spiritual aspect with the key and the stars. About the guidance could be some form of spiritual guidance. So it could be like you receive the guidance actually by going to church. It could also be some sort of plate or situation in which you have to do it on your own, because the Tower is about isolation, and it's about having faith in yourself. So the guidance or the inspiration is, how can you have more faith, going with the Cross, in yourself? That kind of thing. So I'm looking at that as two things. So number one, ways to get inspiration or guidance would be to actually go to a religious institution, and that could be church, synagogue, mosque, whatever that is for you. The other way could be more internal. It could be like needing to have faith in yourself and faith in the guidance that you receive, that kind of thing. It could also be something that's critical, that kind of thing. So, those are those two pairs. And so then what we do is we look at the pair of the Tower and the Heart, because these represent, if this is the middle, then this would be the past, and then these two cards, the Key and the Cross, would represent the future. So these two cards representing the past could be like a feeling of isolation. So the need for the guidance or the inspiration is because we've been feeling isolated, we've been feeling cut off, that kind of thing. So it's about like if you've been feeling isolated or by yourself or feeling, emotionally cut off, this could be a turnaround for you. So that's a positive sign. So then over here, we have the Key and the Cross. The Key, again, I said, is something important, something vital, something certain. This could be, some sort of spiritual breakthrough or some sort of spiritual discovery. It could be the discovery of faith, things of that nature. It could be like a necessary or a critical breakthrough or discovery or revelation. So it could be, as this search for guidance this week could lead to a breakthrough that is very, very critical. It kind of like changes the whole dynamic of your situation. You get to see it in a whole different light because of this this revelation. It's almost making me feel like, it's a critical aha moment, that kind of thing. So going with the stars as guidance, then the next thing I usually do is what we call the hidden dynamics kind of thing. So we look at the playing cards. So this is where the playing card inserts come in. And I got into reading cards from playing cards. So whenever I look for a Lenormand card, or a deck, it's always important for me that they have playing card inserts, because I enjoy working with that aspect of it. So the Heart has the Jack, and so we take that and look at the number. So Jacks are numbered 11, so we take 11, and then the Key has the 8 of diamonds, so we take 11 plus 8, and that brings us to 19. And 19 in the Lenormand is bringing us back to the Tower. So our guidance or inspiration can come from within or in a period of isolation or being by ourselves. It could be also too, if you want to look at the tower as, you know, some form of consciousness, and this could be an elevation in consciousness. So that's the one dynamic. Then the other, using the outer cards, we have the 6 of spades, so we have a 6, and we also have the 6 of clubs, so we have 2 6s here. 6s as a repeating number. Oh, and I just see here in the middle with the stars, so we have 3 6s here. 6 is a number of commitments, of promises, of responsibilities, so it's things of that nature. So it's about what are we going to be committed to, since the number repeats 3 times. What is it that we're going to be committed to? And how can we commit to it? I'm looking at playing on the number 3. How can we commit to it with our mind, our body, and our spirit? Because a commitment usually requires us to commit on all levels that way. So, okay, so here we have the 6 and the 6. So the 12th card in the Lenormand deck is the birds. And so whenever we see the birds can represent communication. It can represent conversation. It can represent talking. The picture on the card has 2 birds, and so that usually represents a partnership or a couple. So here we have an interesting dichotomy. So on the one hand, we could be looking at the guidance or the inspiration from within ourselves, which would be the tower, because the tower, like I said, is about isolation. But it can also come from conversation. It could come from connecting with other people, having dialogue with other people, things of that nature. So, guidance can come, like I said, it can either come externally. So the birds would represent external guidance, and because that's dialogue. Whenever you have a conversation with somebody, that's external. So it could come that way, or it could come from within, going back to the tower. So that's one way we could be inspired or find guidance this week. So the other thing that we can do is take the number on all the cards and add them up and see what that number is in the deck. So we have a 6, we have 3 6s, so that's 18. 18 and 8 is 26, and then the Jack being 11, I said 26 and 11 is 37. So since there are 36 cards in the deck, what you want to do is anything over 36, you want to take the 2 numbers and add them together. So 3 plus 7 is 10. So in the deck, the 10th card is the sickle, or the scythe. And so the scythe represents something coming quickly, something coming suddenly, abruptly. It can represent something being removed. It could represent something sudden. So for me, I'm going to say this whole idea of guidance, it could be something that's really short and to the point, like Lenormand. Lenormand is very different from Tower in the way it reads, because it's very short and to the point, and some people think it's a little bit blunt too. So it could be something that's quick, to the point, something that's accurate, like when you know it, when you hear it or you receive it, you will just know that it's on point. I'm playing on the pun of the sickle. It's on point, it's precise, it's accurate. So I'm going to go with that as the summation. So these are the cards for the week. Again, we have the Tower, the Heart, the Stars, the Key, and the Cross. I'm going to suggest that, if you've been feeling isolated and alone, feeling cut off, this is the time, or feeling like you're not really clear or in touch with what it is that you're passionate about, going with the heart. The star says that's going to change. There's going to be some inspiration that gets you back in touch with what it is that you're passionate about, with the Key, because the Key is about a discovery, a revelation, a breakthrough, something that's certain. You get the answer. So it's the answer to what it is that you're passionate about, or something that you love to do. And then the Cross is saying that it's going to be a critical breakthrough, going with the 2 cards here. Critical breakthrough, something very, very important to your spirituality. And so these are your cards for the week. I am James Himm Mitchell. And if you enjoyed this and if you want to see more of it, let me know in the comment section below. I would really love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you happen to also read Lenormand, what do you see in the cards? What other combinations? Because the beauty about Lenormand is that, this is what I'm seeing, but there are so many permutations and combinations. You may see something else. So I would love to hear what your take on the cards are. So if you have some idea, you want to share it, I would love to hear it. And so until the next time, this is James Himm Mitchell, your intuitive guidance counselor, and I look forward to sharing this space here again with you in the next video. And until then, have a great week and take care.